The hotel ballroom glowed under golden lights, the kind of night where power dressed in black suits and pride hid behind expensive smiles. The annual Cole Enterprises Gala was in full swing, every guest hoping to impress the billionaire host himself. Adrian Cole, known for his confidence, his money, and the way he made people feel smaller when he walked by, he stood near the stage, surrounded by admirers laughing at something only he found funny. Near the back of the room stood a young waitress, named Lily, carrying a tray of glasses, her uniform plain, her hair tucked neatly behind her ear. She moved with quiet focus, invisible to everyone except him, when his eyes caught hers. For a split second, something about her calm composure made him pause. He watched her weave through the crowd like she belonged there, but refused to take up space. When she passed by his table, one of his friends leaned over, grinning. "Watch this, Adrian, you still got your charm, or has business made you boring?" Adrian smirked and said loud enough for others to hear, "I bet I could make even a waitress dance with me tonight." Laughter followed. Lily froze her back, straightening as she realized he was talking about her. She turned slowly, meeting his gaze. Her voice, "Steady, sir, I'm working." He smirked. "That sounds like an excuse," she replied calmly. "No, sir, that sounds like respect for my job." The crowd chuckled softly, impressed by her nerve. He tilted his head, amused. What if it's not a request, but a dare? Her heart raced, but she didn't flinch. "A dare, sir," he smiled, half mocking, half intrigued. "If you've got the confidence you look like you do, then show me." She placed her tray on the table beside him, leaned forward slightly, and said in a tone that silenced the laughter, "Are you sure you can keep up?" He blinked, the confidence in her voice catching him off guard before he could reply. She stepped onto the small dance floor that had cleared for the next performance. The band hesitated as she nodded. Toward them, play something fast, something that makes people forget who's watching. She turned to him, her eyes locked and her lips curved into a small, daring smile. "Well, Mr. Cole, are you coming? Or are you just good at talking?" The crowd erupted with laughter and cheers as the billionaire found himself suddenly challenged by the one woman in the room who didn't care who he was. The crowd gathered fast, circling the dance floor, as if sensing something unforgettable was about to happen. The band struck up a rhythm bright and alive, and Lily moved like she'd been waiting her whole life for this moment. Her steps were fluid, confident, every turn a quiet rebellion against every stare in the room. The guests whispered to one another, "The waitress is dancing with fire in her veins." Adrian froze for a moment, caught off guard. Then a voice behind him laughed. "Come on, Cole, don't let her show you up." He smirked, but his pulse raced. He stepped onto the floor, straightening his jacket as if he could hide his nerves. The moment he joined her, she spun around gracefully, their eyes meeting for the first time without the distance of money or ego. She didn't wait for him to lead. She took the rhythm and owned it. The crowd gasped, some laughing, some cheering, as the billionaire who usually commanded every room suddenly looked like he was chasing to keep up. She smiled lightly. "Don't fall behind now, sir." He chuckled, trying to match her moves and failing miserably. "It's Mr. Cole," she teased. "Not on this dance floor." The tempo picked up and she twirled once more, her hair loosening, the light catching her face in a way that made the entire ballroom fade. Adrian tried to regain control, but realized quickly she wasn't playing his game, he was in hers. She dipped low with perfect timing, then rose again, catching him off balance. The crowd roared as she took his hand and spun him instead, her confidence electric. When the music ended, she stopped in the center of the floor, her chest rising with breath but her gaze steady. Adrian stood a few feet away, his tie undone, his composure shattered. The guests clapped wildly, some standing in awe. Someone whispered, "She outdanced him. He's never been outshined before." Lily gave a polite curtsy and said softly, "Thank you for the dance, sir." Before turning to leave, Adrian caught her arm gently, not with command, but curiosity. "Who are you really?" She smiled slightly, just someone who stopped waiting for permission to shine. He let her go, but the sound of applause followed her out of the ballroom, echoing in his chest long after she disappeared into the hallway. The next morning, the gala was all over the news, but not because of the billionaire's speech, every headline told. The same story, waitress outshines CEO in unplanned dance battle videos, flooded social media, showing Lily spinning across the ballroom lights, while Adrian Cole struggled to keep up the internet, loved her for her fearlessness, and laughed at him. For his pride, Adrian sat in his office staring at the clips on his phone, his assistant shifting nervously beside him. "Sir, this went viral overnight," he muttered. "I can see that." Instead of anger, something else flickered in his eyes, curiosity maybe, even respect. He leaned back, remembering the moment she'd looked him in the eye and told him she didn't need permission to shine. It had been years since anyone had spoken to him like that. By noon, he was standing in the same hotel lobby where the gala had taken place. Lily was there, handing back her tray and signing her resignation form. The manager frowned. "Are you sure you want to quit, Lily? People are offering interviews. You could be famous." She smiled faintly. "I didn't dance for attention. Sir, I danced because I was tired of being invisible." Adrian approached quietly. The manager froze. "Mr. Cole, Adrian raised a hand. "It's fine, I'm not here to cause trouble." Lily turned to him, calm and steady. "You're trending worldwide, Mr. Cole. Congratulations." He smiled slightly. "I think you stole that spotlight." She folded her arms. "If you came to offer me hush money, don't waste your time." He chuckled. "I came to offer you a job." She blinked. "A job doing what he said, running the company's charity event division. We need someone who understands people, not just profits." She studied him for a long moment. "Are you serious?" He nodded. "You're not the kind of person who fades into the background, and I could use that kind of light in my team." She hesitated, then said quietly, "I don't want to be your employee if it's just guilt." He smiled gently. "It's not guilt. It's admiration. You reminded me what confidence looks like when it's real." She tilted her head, thoughtful. "And what if I say no?" He shrugged. "Then I'll still thank you for teaching me how to dance without leading for once." Something in his tone made her smile. "You're not as arrogant as people think." He grinned. "I'm learning from the best." Weeks passed and the world moved on from the viral clip, but Adrian didn't. He hired Lily as promised and, true to his word, gave her complete freedom to lead the company's charity events. She transformed every project she touched, turning corporate showcases into nights. That actually helped people. She worked differently. She spoke differently. She carried herself with the quiet confidence of someone who no longer asked to belong. She simply did. At first, everyone in the company doubted her, the billionaire's waitress. They whispered. But doubt turned into admiration when donations tripled within a month. Adrian would stand by the window of his office, sometimes watching her talk to his executives with grace and purpose. Every word sharp but kind. The same fire. From that dance, still alive but now focused on something bigger. One evening, after a long meeting, she knocked on his door. "You wanted to see me." He smiled, gesturing to the view. "Come here, I want to show you something." She joined him at the window where the city lights glowed below. He said quietly, "This used to feel like power, now it just feels like potential." She glanced at him, puzzled. "What changed?" He looked at her and said, "You." She laughed softly. "I just organized a few events." He shook his head. "You taught me something no boardroom ever could, that confidence isn't about control. It's about connection. That night when you danced, I realized I'd spent years performing for applause instead of living for meaning." She smiled faintly. "You think one dance did all that?" He nodded. "I think one person did." Silence settled between them. For a moment she turned to go, but he said quietly, "Lily." She looked back. He stepped closer. "I used to walk into every room thinking I needed to be seen, but that night you walked in and reminded me how powerful it is to simply be seen." Her eyes softened, her voice quiet. "Maybe that's why we both needed that moment. You to remember what humility feels like, and me to remember what courage feels like." He smiled. "You gave me both," she smiled back, "and you gave me a platform to dance again, even off the floor months later." The annual Cole Foundation Gala opened again, this time with a twist. No chandeliers, no gold curtains, just stories of people whose lives had been changed because one woman dared to dance. Adrian stood behind the curtain watching as Lily walked onto the stage, her confidence glowing brighter than any spotlight. When she spoke, her words were simple. "I learned that the world doesn't change when the powerful talk, it changes when the humble act." As the crowd rose to their feet in applause, Adrian joined her on stage, not as a boss, not as a billionaire, but as a man who had finally learned to share the light. She looked at him, smiling. "Softly, seems like you kept up after all," he whispered. "I had a good teacher. If this story made you smile, share it with someone who needs a reminder that accidents can turn into beautiful beginnings."